guys, welcome back to the Steven's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making banana bread, and personally I think this is something that everybody should have a recipe for in their cookbook. So yeah, we're going to get started. This is also something that people really overcomplicate, and it really shouldn't be because it's so simple and you probably already have all the ingredients on hand. So let's go over the ingredients and we'll get started. Okay, what I have here is some all-purpose flour, some baking soda, some cinnamon and salt. I have some plain granulated sugar. Here I have 4 tablespoons of butter flavored shortening and 4 tablespoons of butter. Now you need both in this to make it work. The reason why you need to do a combination of the shortening and the butter is because the butter is going to give you that awesome flavor, and the Crisco or the shortening, it's going to give you that amazing texture. I always cook with Crisco in my cakes or breads, sweet breads, just because it gives it an overall great texture. So moving on the ingredients, I have 2 eggs here cracked in a little bowl. I have a handful of crushed walnuts. I have half a teaspoon of vanilla paste, and the star of the show, which is 3 disgusting, wrinkly old bananas. So we're actually gonna get started with bananas, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what we're gonna do to start. All right, so first you want to peel your bananas, and we're gonna start by mashing them. And when I say mash them, you want these to look like banana pudding. And honestly, the blacker they are, the spottier they are, the better. You cannot make this bread with fresh yellow bananas that are still green especially. You want these just to be extremely soft so you can mash them really easily. And also, when they get overly ripe, the sugars in them develop and they get extremely sweet, which is why we don't have to use as much sugar. So it also gives it an unbelievable flavor. So now I have all 3 of my bananas in here. I'm gonna wash my hands quick. So now to mash these, I'm gonna be making this whole recipe just in a bowl with a whisk, a whiz spoon, and a pastry cutter, just to show that you don't need a kitchen aid to make things like this. So I'm gonna be using the pastry cutter, but you definitely could just be using a fork to mash up the bananas. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mash these up until they are like a pudding consistency. So this is exactly what you're looking for. So now that you have your bananas all mashed, we're going to grab our granulated sugar. We're going to throw that on in the bowl, and we're also going to add our combination of the butter and the butter flavored shortening. All I did was put this through the microwave for about 30 seconds, and as you can see, it's all softened and sort of melted together now, so I'm also going to throw that in. I'm going to grab a whisk in a bowl. Again, you can do this in a KitchenAid. I'm doing it like this, and I'm just going to cream these together. Now this mixture is going to be a little bit lumpy, and that is totally okay because you have to understand the bananas, there's still going to be some lumps. Now that I have that incorporated, I'm going to add in my 2 eggs, and I'm also going to whisk that in. And I'm also going to be adding in my vanilla. Beautiful. So I'm actually going to put my whisk aside, and I'm going to go ahead and just give my dry ingredients a quick mix. That way you don't get a clump of baking soda in your bread. All right. And now this is ready just to add in my dry mixture. And now you want to be really gentle with this. You don't want to whisk away on this. You want to fold it just until the flour is all incorporated. And folding is just you go in the middle and you bring it around the sides. That way you don't get a tough bread. If you over mix this, you will have an extremely tough banana bread, and that's not what you want. All right, that looks beautiful. It's nice and thick, and it smells amazing. The smell of banana is so strong because we use those ripe bananas. Okay, so now I don't have a loaf pan, so I'm just gonna be using an 8x8 square pan, and I have the oven set at 350 degrees, and now I'm just going to take a stick of butter and I'm going to grease down this pan, and then I will show you guys the next step. I'm just going to grease down the sides of this generously with butter. You don't want anything to stick. You could also throw some parchment paper in there or use some baking spray. I just love a little extra butter. That's all. As you can see, I have greased my dish liberally, and I am just going to add in my fluffy batter. Get it all in there, leave nothing behind. I'm just going to spread this out. And depending on the size of your pan is going to depend on the cook time. So if you have a loaf pan, it might take a little bit longer to cook than it will for me. Oh, this is gorgeous. You can see the little lumps of the banana. Oh, So good. Okay, so now this step is optional. I know a lot of people have nut allergies, so you don't have to do this. I personally like it. I'm just gonna take some crushed walnuts and throw those right on top. Just adds a little something extra to the bread. Like I said before, it is going to depend on what type of pan you are using for this. Again, I'm using an 8x8 square pan, so this is going to cook a little bit less than a traditional loaf pan would. So I'm going to throw this into my oven, 350 degrees, for about 35 to 40 minutes, or until a toothpick goes in the middle, comes out clean, and has a nice golden brown color on top. So I will see you guys in about 40 minutes. My banana bread cooked for 38 minutes exactly at 350 degrees, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Look at this crust. And it's the perfect color. So we're gonna cut into it. And I like to serve my banana bread with some butter fresh out of the oven, and then the next day after it sits overnight, I think it's best. And then I like to serve it with cream cheese. So we're gonna try it with a little bit of butter today. So I'm just gonna cut a slice. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like on the inside. Oh, it's perfect. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at the inside. You can tell that it's so moist. It puffed up. Oh my God. This is going to be to die for. Okay, so I'm going to cut this in half. This is how I serve it. You guys can serve it however you'd like. All right. I'm going to get a little bit of margarine or soft butter. And ooh, I'm just going to. All right. Time I'm waiting for the taste test. Wow. It tastes just like my grandma used to make. It is so incredibly moist, and the texture is unreal. The texture is like no other banana bread that I've had. Starbucks doesn't come close to this. And you saw how easy it was, you know? And this only gets better with time. You can leave this on the countertop, cover it with saran wrap, and it will stay good on your countertop for 4 to 5 days. And oh, it's just a winner. If you guys like this recipe, like down below and subscribe to the Stevens Kitchen, and comment down below if you guys make this yourself. I want to hear how it came out, and I will put the recipe down below with all the measurements so that you guys can make this as well. So I'm gonna get to eating this, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.